All right, I ain't gonna lie. If you're a fan of the Boston Celtics, I feel very, very, very sorry for you because you guys have had a really, really, really rough offseason. First, you guys lose Kristaps Porzingis to the Atlanta Hawks, which I really kind of felt like a lot of you guys really didn't care like that because he was only playing like 10 minutes a game in the playoffs. And then you lose Drew Holiday, but you gain in Anthony Simons off that. But things just got way worse today with the trade of Al Horford. And, bro, when I first saw that, I was like, wow, because Golden State's getting a way better offense now. And their projected lineup is Curry, Buddy Hield, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, and now Al Horford. So let's roll into today's episode and let's talk about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing.
So, like I said before, Al Horford, he will be starting with the Golden State Warriors, and he's entering year 19. So, Warriors have a lot of veteran leadership on that team. But honestly, it is kind of a little weird because, I'm going to get into, how that's a little weird later. But Al Horford is going to provide so many things to Golden State, and I really think Golden State actually has an opportunity to do great this year. So Al Horford, he's going to provide more shooting and offensive impacts because, the Warriors have great motion offense, and he's going to be able to provide really good for that. He also shoots 50% from the field and 37% from three-point. And, the Warriors, like I said, they're full of veterans with Curry, Butler, and Draymond Green. You have a young Buddy Hield on your squad, and, that's really not that bad because he's also going to provide shooting for you guys. And he also has high IQ, which is going to be essential to the offense that Golden State is going to be able to commit this year. Because he has great passing skills, and he's obviously a veteran and he knows what he's doing. And this is also a really great thing because Draymond's been he's been utilizing the center position like most of the time, which is, it kind of makes sense because, he's such an aggressive defender and, he's able to get all those rebounds. So now he has the help in Al Horford right now. So, obviously it's going to reduce his minutes of being in the center position. And, he's also a really good rim protector as well because, he's very versatile and he's going to be able to switch to players on the perimeter. And I really feel like he's going to be able to do that. So obviously, another thing he can do is he can space the floor. He's part of the stretch five, and he's capable from shooting from three-point land. And honestly, he shot almost 40%. So I really think that Golden State is going to be able to do great this year. They're going to have a great offense, and the offense is going to be way better. But for the Celtics, on the other hand, it's definitely not going to be looking good for you guys. And obviously, with the Warriors, the whole controversy with Jonathan Kuminga right now with their player option and pretty much everything like that because he wants a team option right now, it's not looking too good. He was a possible trade asset. And you know how Steve Kerr is, his whole mentality is, he doesn't want to play the young guys like that. And, it's really tough because, if you're a young guy on that team, then you're not going to get a bunch of playing time. But they got to realize he averages 15 points a game. And, he's not that bad of a player. You just got to give him more opportunities. And, I think the team option is a really great thing for him. If not, then you're going to look at a possible trade for him. So, obviously, that's definitely going to feel really weird for Kuminga because of the whole controversy. But we'll see if they plan on keeping him or if they plan on leaving him or just leaving with the player option, depending on, what the organization wants and see how they're going to be able to provide and build around that. But obviously, for the Boston Celtics, definitely going to be tough because now you do not have a great defense anymore. You still have some key shooting players like Derek White. You still got Jaylen Brown on your team. You have Anthony Simons, who is going to be the new addition of the team, and he's a great shooter. He just had to get out of Portland. And you also got to realize that you don't have a great defense no more. You guys got rid of Drew Holiday, and, that's obviously really tough. So, defense is definitely going to sting, and, they're definitely not going to be a top team in the East anymore because, Jayson Tatum, it looks like he could potentially return, but I'm not too 100% certain that he will return because he's starting to walk a little more. But people are looking at his leg and saying oh, his leg is really huge and he has to be sitting on it. You know what I'm saying? But potentially he's going to miss out the rest of the year. He will be playing in 26-27, but this year it may not look too good. But if he does miss most of the season and players are coming back in the middle of the season, it's going to take him way too long to even come back. So you obviously got to realize that you're not going to have Tatum for a majority, if not the entire year. So Boston could potentially fall to 7, or they could be fighting for a play-in tournament. But honestly, I really feel like for Golden State, this is a really big W for them. And because you're gonna have a great defense now, Jimmy Butler and Draymond. You're gonna have shooting now, and it looks like the offense is still gonna be a great motion offense. And honestly, that's really all what I gotta say. But it definitely feels really weird that Al Horford is going to a great offensive team when he was already on an offensive team in Boston, because that's how they kind of ran their entire offense and their entire team. And Boston, I don't really think they have a lot of veteran leadership anymore, and that's definitely going to be really tough for them. So definitely really young. They got to rely on Jaylen Brown for most of the year, and they got to rely on Derek White. And their shooting has to stay stable and in great condition. But right now, it really doesn't look like that. And Boston, y'all could potentially be fighting a play-in tournament or be at 6 potentially. Because, the East is definitely is looking really tough this year because of a lot of injuries that happened. Like Tyrese Halliburton out with a torn Achilles, Damian Lillard out with a torn Achilles. Well, actually, he's Western Conference. I don't know what I'm talking about. But, that's also an asset, and he won't be playing at all. But, you have a lot of injuries, and, it's time for the other guys to really step up. And, we'll see what's going to happen throughout the season. But right now for Boston, not looking too good. I ain't going to lie. But that's really all I got to say. And just one more thing before we leave. I just wanted to get into just a little bit of football, honestly. The Chiefs have defeated the Ravens. And for the Ravens, I ain't going to lie, I'm a little disappointed right now. So the Ravens, I was really expecting them to have a really great year because Lamar Jackson, great quarterback. And, when I did the rankings of the quarterbacks, I had him as a highly elite quarterback, and I really felt like he had a chance to hopefully make the Super Bowl this year. And when they lost to the Bills and they sold, I was like, you know what, okay, stuff happens, it's all good. I ain't gonna lie, because they did blow that lead and it's all good. But they're 1-3 right now with that loss with the Chiefs, and I really felt like they had a chance. And when you get sacked by the Lions 7 times, it's kind of going to show that you're definitely struggling this year. The Ravens' defense is a really, really, really big issue. They already have 2 injured guys right now. And, when you have two injured guys, it's definitely going to be really tough throughout the year. But right now, they are not looking too good. 1-3. And definitely really, really, really disappointing right now. But we'll see if they can somehow bounce back, and I really hope that they can. But anyways, y'all, that's all I got for you guys. I'm sorry for being really inactive lately. And, I got a lot of college stuff I got to do. But I will be hopefully more consistent with my podcast from now on. But anyways, y'all, I'll catch you guys in the next episode. And hopefully I can do one hopefully next weekend or sometime this week. I would really love to start my consistent grind again. I ain't gonna lie. And also follow me on Twitch, Dahani Woodward. And have a good one, y'all. Peace out. Good evening.